Hey YouTube, I'm back. It's been a while. It's been a lot of COVID stuff going on, and with everything, I didn't know what I was going to do with the channel. I didn't know what I was going to do with getting into the building and taking a bunch of videos and helping people out. But I'm back. Been doing a lot of stuff on Instagram, little things here and there, little quick snippets of what's been going on. But today is Worship Sunday for the church, and so I wanted to take a moment and just kind of show you what we're doing and how we do it. So on a typical worship Sunday, we have 14 to 18 people up here on stage, and we don't have enough outputs for all the various in-ear monitors that we borrow and rent to make this all happen. So in addition to what we normally have, we build Monitor World. So here in a minute, I'm going to show you how we've got this all set up. So if you wanted to do something the same in your church or in your own venue or something like that, you might have an idea of how to do it. There are a lot of videos out there on how to do it different ways. I'm going to show you the way that works for us, and we've tried about 4 or 5 different ways now, but I think this works pretty good. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a comment or send me an email. So here comes some footage for you. Alright guys, so we're here at the back of Calvary stage. As you can see here, we're in the back of the room on the stage. So this is what we have set for Monitor World, and I know the cabling is a little bit of a mess, but you know, when you only have a couple hours to set up everything and wire it all up, you do the best you can. So anyways, on a typical Sunday, the only thing that we normally have is this rack, right? So we have power, we have our P16 distribution, and then we have our digital snake. All of our wireless for our mics and our in-ears, the in-ears are actually in the other side of this rack, which I'll show you in a second. But all of our mics are typically up there at the sound booth. So we have them all rented today. So we have all matching wireless microphones and stuff. So we are good to go there. But what we do is we basically rent this rack and we borrow this rack. So this is a bunch of in-ear monitors that a friend of ours who plays bass for us, his name's Carson, he's got an Instagram channel that you can go follow and stuff, and he plays with a band called Ultranets. So he's gracious enough to let us borrow his rack for some in-ear monitors, and then this rack is full of wireless microphones from Studio 46 over in Lexington here in Kentucky. So they let us rent those from them, and then we basically wire it all into here. Now this is the old youth soundboard. So on a typical Sunday, we will borrow this from them, and basically we have front of house mixing, and then we have monitor mixing. So what we do here is we basically just mirror the channels from up there down to here. Now there's a lot of stuff you have to do to get this to work right. A lot of people say you need to do different things with routing and with clock settings and stuff like that. So here's the way we do it. Here's the way that it works for us. So from here on the X32, we'll come over here to setup. And let's come back here to the main page here. And then underneath this section right here, which is going to be kind of hard to see, I'm going to try and focus in without getting my light too much into it. So let's just see if we can get it here without the light. As you can see, there's a clock setting right here. All right. Normally this needs to be on internal if you're running it by yourself. But since we are running this from front of house and I'm doing all of my gain, so basically each channel that comes in here, all of the gain is set from my front of house board. So I can set the gain up there. The gain down here will translate just fine. So what we do is we set this to A. So we're actually pulling from the digital snake on channel A. All of the clock settings, that includes all the gain for all the channels. So we have everything coming into here. We have our main soundboard, which you can't really see right now, but there's a network cord coming in down here. That is from our main soundboard. We have a second network cable, which is the B channel to this snake. From there, we have it running to the A channel here. So we actually plug into A here, but it's actually output B. So on this board, it thinks it's A. Down here, it thinks it's B. So A on this one down here is from front of house. So that's how we hook all these things together here. And then after that, all we do is we come in here to the routing page. And if we scroll over to the input section, we actually treat this as if it is its own console. So this is A 1 through 32 inputs, which correspond to 1 through 32 inputs down here. So we actually have all the inputs separated here, so we can actually do our own EQ, our own compression if we want to do compression on monitors, things like that. And that is how we have this thing kind of set up. So let me wheel around here to the other side. And as you can see here, here's the back of the X32. We are actually, let me turn down this light just a little bit here. There we go. We're actually coming in the A for the board here, and we're actually coming out of B over here. So yeah, this is how it all works. We have all of our outputs for our wireless ears that are running over to this rack for all of our wireless ears. And then we have a couple of extra wireless packs over here that we're using today as well, just a couple of extras. This is Studio 46's microphone array that they have us with today. Really, really slick setup. If you guys ever need microphones in the Lexington area for any reason, I highly recommend these guys. This is by far the best microphone setup I've ever used from a rental perspective. It just works great. Everything's in this self-enclosed case. It pulls out and closes. So all I have to do is open it up, boom. Here's all the batteries for each of the microphones. All the microphones are racked. You got an RF venue with a antenna right there. And it just has, man, I plugged it in, hooked up the microphones, and they just worked out of the box. Had to change one channel, but that's because it had some interference from something else that's going on in our room. But other than that, this thing has worked great. By far the quickest and easiest microphone setup I've done for a worship morning. So that basically covers it. That is the monitor world for worship morning. If you have any questions, drop me a comment or send me an email, and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. Until next time, peace.